everyone, and welcome to another episode of SDGC. I'm Derek. I'm joined by most of the SDGC cast. We've got, in proper order, Jeff, Finn, Justin, and CJ. How's it going, guys? Yeah. That's You know what? That's enthusiasm. I'll take that. That counts.
All the coolest kids are here.
Yeah. So we've got some news to talk tonight. We got a lot of stuff about Evo in particular to talk tonight that I think is mostly good news, mostly like feel good kind of news and stuff to talk about. We've got a little shit talking to do. We've got a little bit about what we've been playing to do. But first, how's everybody's night going?
All right. You know, it's been a good night. It's a little busy, but you know what? That's all good.
Yeah, Finn, you have something special you want because you can't really be here for the show, but you put a few minutes aside for something.
Yes. So I'm here to shill.
You've been very busy, and the thing that's kept you very busy has kept you off SDGC for a while now, but it's coming to fruition.
That's true. And it's gonna so today a brand new game dropped on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Shin-Chan Summer. Hold on, let me pull up the full ass name because it's a mouthful. You think, Matthew?
Shin-Chan, me and the professor on summer vacation, the endless 7-day
journey. Yeah. So, I have been in charge of the Western launch of this game, handling every aspect of it solo. It has been daunting to say the least. It has been extremely busy and nerve-wracking and awesome, and at the same time, you know, it's just, I don't know, man, it's cool, you know, like helping a game come to America, and it came out today on Switch.
Well, like,
it was supposed to also come on PlayStation.
You used to do delayed. PR with like Arxis,
yes,
and some other Bandai Namco affiliated.
With the team, you know, like I helped bring like Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle and Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2 and all kinds of Arc System games. I helped with Dragon Ball Fighters, stuff like that. But like, that was never me. Like, I was always part of a team, and they were handling the bigger aspects of it, like reaching out and getting games on the eShop, getting it certified, all that fun stuff. And man, it's wild. It's fun, and I am thrilled that I was able to bring in our good friend Derek for the crucial component of doing the voiceover for our official trailer. And your boy just crushed it from the get-go. Like no notes. Like, he submitted his voiceover based on our talk and our very rough script. And he fucking came back with a banger. And then I submitted it to Japan, and they're like, hell yeah, this guy rocks. And now it's an official promoted tweet, and it's an official game trailer, and Derek's just dope like that.
It was also definitely a bit of a process to get that together.
Yeah. And he did it in one day, because that's the time frame we had, because that's how Japan works. We need this today. We want to prove it for 3 weeks, but we need it today.
Not just working with Japan, but working with Japan on like a licensed IP, where it's like another layer of complication you've got to get through to get things approved.
So I'm trying to figure out what I can and can't say. So what I will say is this: is that the process is very complicated because we have Neos, the publisher of the game, Kazayabe, and Millennium Kitchen or Millennium Sink.
I think it's Millennium Kitchen.
Yeah. I made the joke that it's everything kitchen sink, blah blah blah, whatever. But so I have the developer, the publisher, and then also the Shin-Chan IP holder to have to approve everything. It's lots of steps, but always it's all good. It's fun. Yeah, it's out. At least this is stage 1. You'd think I could relax, but I can't.
Got to launch on more systems yet, so
can't officially announce it, but soon. I'm thinking, I don't know. Does SDG want to scoop Monday that some another announcements will be coming regarding PlayStation and PC? So yeah, we got a limit. We have a physical edition on the way, which is huge, including a collector's edition, which is also pretty cool. Yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm just here to shill. Came out today.
Yeah.
I should talk about what the game is. It's like
Well,
one
I'll be
part.
talking about it because I'm
Oh yeah,
what
that's
I've been
right. You
playing.
are okay.
That's
Cool.
primarily what I've
Yeah,
been playing
I
the
will.
last
I
week.
will. I will. It's better to come from someone that's played it rather than someone that's making it anyway. So
Yeah.
that's literally all I got.
Finn's the soulless suit of the.
Yes, that's me. I'm
Finn's
like,
like, I don't even know what a video game
Yeah,
is.
like,
Where's
I'm
the
the guy
board
that plays
pieces?
Cuphead and can't double jump. No, it's just it's wild, man. I when I got approached for this job, thanks to some connections I had made in my Arc System days, to do is just basically like a side hustle of my real during my day job stuff. I don't know, man. It's been a blast. I've loved it. I will still have to be missing some SDGC because our weekly video calls with the client are on Thursdays at 9
Yeah, that's
o'clock.
not done for a while. So
They've apparently liked my work so much they've extended my contract to October now, which was cool. It was only supposed to be until the end of this month.
lovely.
So that's a good feeling.
I'm happy for you, bud. I know this is something you've been working towards for a long time to get back into this world. So I know it's been a lot, but I hope it's been a growth experience for you.
It has been, and I will continue to use my cronyism and nepotism powers to make Derek voice all of my trailers, just for the hell of it. Anyway, love y'all. I gotta bounce because I have so many reports to write, and I have my call coming up with the team anyway. So
Just don't forget the cover sheets on those reports.
oh no, oh man, it's been so long since I
TPS
watched
reports.
Office Space. There it is. All right, love everybody.
All right, later, bub.
It's on the eShop now. Oh, and we're number 4. Somehow we're
This will be
number
easy
4.
to find.
We're though on the bestseller list of the eShop right now. That's just fucking cool. Okay, cool. Bye.
All right, so let's talk a little bit before we get into the news about what we've been playing. And let's start with CJ. CJ, what have you been playing this last week?
I'm still playing. I'm playing one game I can't talk about because it's embargoed yet for review. So look out for that next week. I'm still playing Gran Turismo 7. Still a great game, but I'm stuck in those fucking circuits, and I want to like throw my controller up against the TV because this game is like.
Or are you doing the circuit experiences?
Yes, bro. Fuck that. Fuck no, because if you're off track,
You get such a good payout if you do them all, though.
One moment.
Well, yeah, no. But the thing is, one of the menu books is do it. You just have to do it. You have to. I'm doing the Trial of the Dragon, whatever one.
Yeah.
Dragon Trail. Oh fuck, bro. I hate it. I hate this shit so much. Right before I was playing, I logged on today. I'm like, man, fuck this game so goddamn much. I hate it so much. I can't believe I spent money on this shit. I can't find one like purely good PlayStation game that I love because they always fuck with me somehow. But no, I still love it. And in between that, I've been playing a lot of. I finally got a copy from work. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Oh my god!
Is that the new? Is that like the 3D platformer one?
Yes, the 3D Kirby. I'm like one of the few sickos who actually enjoyed the Kirby Star Allies. I liked it a lot. Everyone kind of like shit on it because it launched with no content, but I picked it up. We'll bet when they updated it completely. It's just so funny to see Derek on the side on the phone there.
He is a businessman.
Everyone here is the Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's a great 3D platformer. It's super, simple. I'm playing it on the Summer Breeze mode, where it's a Spring Breeze mode, where it's incredibly easy. And I adore it. I've taken like 50 screenshots, even though there's no photo mode, just of like Kirby and like floating in the water or like waving at the camera. It's absolutely adorable and everything. I'm a sucker for these kinds of games, and I'm glad Nintendo is like they're doing a bit. There's more variety in like their slate of like platformers, because it used to be, what is it, during the Wii and Switch era, it just used to be the new Super games and that's it, or like platformers. But now I'm glad like we have Mario Odyssey, which is like this big grand return for like 3D platformers. Tropical Freeze is like maybe the best 2D platformer of like the last 20 years, and it's not even made by them directly. And then Kirby finally got his own 3D platformer. I hope the team makes like a Donkey Kong platformer up next. I like a 3D one, but that's some wishful thinking. But as of now, I'm enjoying it. As far as anything else, I mean, Justin and I will occasionally play Battlefield 2042 together. He's heard me get mad. He's heard me like get mad. Yeah, that's about it. put it past the mic too.
CJ, I'm just curious, really quickly. Have you played Donkey Kong 64? Just because you were talking about like 3D Donkey
Yeah,
Kong.
I played a little bit of that game. I don't like Rare's 3D
Okay.
platformers because they're about collecting as opposed to platforming, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I've never been into them. Donkey Kong 64 seems to me seems the most enjoyable of all of them. Well, actually, no, I like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite. The only Donkey Kong game I really played was Tropical Freeze, which is like just a testament to how good that game is because I don't like 2D games, but man, that's a good game. But I do like Banjo Kazooie. I like a lot of Rare's. Yeah, I get all the platforming's not stellar, but I'm like I just kind of want to play Donkey Kong 64 because I like the vibes of it,
Yeah,
and I like Rare games.
That's kind of why I like Conker's Bad Fur Day so much because that game's all about story as opposed to truly like platforming or collecting. It's all about just kind of living in that world. That's the only rare like 3D platformer I like.
Which one?
Conker's Bad Fur Day. Because we're like, you missed like a whole. We're talking about like Donkey Kong now.
Sorry, work
like,
call.
Everyone here is on work call. And yeah, so I don't like DK64. It doesn't really do much for me. I'm sure if I'll give it a try. Like I should give it a try. Yeah, I know.
It's a mess. Like I like it, but it's a fucking mess.
I love that Funky Kong completes his libertarian like transformation
into a fucking. Where was Funky Kong on January 6th?
No, because Funky Kong goes from that uncle who like bums your weed off of you, and to now like straight up he is a warhead.
I think Funky Kong. I should rephrase. I don't think Funky Kong is actually like a MAGA type. I think Funky Kong is like a Robert Evans style like anarcho-communist type who is just obsessed with guns.
No.
Okay, into like guns and like experimental synthetic compounds.
No, you're giving it too much credit. Funky Kong is Matthew McConaughey's character from Dazed and Confused, who read like who listened to Alex Jones and was like, you know what, I get it. Cranky Kong's full mega though. Donkey Kong's apolitical. Diddy Kong is also apolitical, but if Dixie is whatever Dixie's opinion is, that's what he'll choose to believe.
Right.
That's all. That's the only Kongs that matter.
Yeah, Lanky Kong is an Andrew Yang fan for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Chunky's dead.
Are you sure Diddy isn't like a hardcore like I'm with her Hillary Clinton voter?
No, Dixie is. Dixie is the epitome. Like Dixie is white feminism in like monkey form, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Kitty Kong would wear like the I'm with her because he's like he doesn't know what the fuck.
Right, he's a child. What does he know?
Exactly. Anyway, but yeah, like I'm enjoying Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I think it's probably like one of the best like 3D platformers I've played in like a while. It's so just wonderful and vibe. I love the vibes and everything. Maybe my favorite platform of the year, I think, so far.
It was a really good game. I really enjoyed my time with it. I was a surprisingly good transition to 3D.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for me. There's like my mandated Donkey Kong opinion for the.
You're talking about who all the Donkey Kong characters would vote for.
You seen that video, like the guy going through all the Mario Kart characters, like if they're like political.
Yeah.
he's like really detailed and also incredibly like accurate. Like I got to do that with either Donkey Kong or Sonic characters.
Yeah. King K. Rool weirdly still has a Martin O'Malley bumper sticker. Bustin', what you been playing the last week, man?
So I hadn't actually been playing all that much. I started a new job, so I've been busy with that and getting used to the new schedule and stuff.
Like good grown-up ass job.
Yeah.
That treats you with respect and dignity.
Yeah, it's been good so far. But I have been checking out some Battlefield 2042. There was actually a recent patch that fixed a lot of my core issues with the game. Like, more than I thought they would in a single patch. They have been steadily improving it since launch. I don't need to go into the launch state of that game. It's pretty well known at this point, but so like part of one of the major issues, and this was kind of one that was underreported because a lot of Battlefield players are on PC, but the game had a huge issue with aim assist and not functioning correctly if you were playing with a controller. And in Battlefield, that's particularly debilitating, and especially when there's crossplay with PC players. So it's been actually difficult to play and just actually enjoy the core like mechanics of the game. They finally got that fixed, which is huge for somebody who's playing it on console like I am. I can now play Battlefield and do like how I normally do in a match. But another thing is they actually completely remade one of the maps. And it was one of the two that was like people were really ragging on as not being a good map. They basically completely remade it. They called it a map rework, but like after playing it, it's basically an all new map that just looks similar to the old one and has some of the same points of interest. And it plays so much better. And it sounds like they are basically planning on reworking almost every single map that was in the base game based off of player feedback. And if they're as good of an improvement as this one is, that bodes very well, because they took one of the worst maps in franchise history and in the game to be one of the strongest maps in the game currently. And this season they also have added a new map that's quite good. And so they said, we're not going to be putting out as many new maps, but all of the player feedback is being taken into account with the new maps that they make, and they're going to be going through and reworking a lot of the base maps and stuff. So I've just been able to have a lot of fun with it. Like they finally got balance kind of sorted out, and it just feels good to play. Like it's still not in the best spot. And I'm not sure EA is going to give it the time it needs to really get polished up, but it was just a very nice update to see that it's like, hey, they're listening to the right things, they're on the right track, and they are getting stuff out to players. That is a pretty substantial improvement, even though it has taken quite a while, and it's probably not going to speed up anytime soon. But it was just nice to be able to turn on the game and actually enjoy it quite a bit. And a lot of people I know that have been checking it out have been enjoying it a lot more since this recent update, which is good. So I just Battlefield is like Battlefield used to be the only like multiplayer game I played like growing up. So like it's a series that means a lot to me. I really just enjoy Battlefield, and it's nice to be able to sit down and play it again without the same level of vitriol as there was, back at launch and everything. So, but yeah, I'm really kind of just killing time waiting. Like, I wish I had something to play so bad now that I have like an actual full weekend every week. Like, it's like last week I was just sitting around like, what am I gonna do?
Don't worry. Release Bombardment is coming soon.
I
enough.
know. This fall's gonna be really good. There's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to, but like, just right now, things are a little quiet on my end.
Yeah. Well, there's worse things than quiet. Jeff, my man, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a game called Lawn Care Simulator.
That sounds immediately Jeff core.
It's pretty realistic. You don't play it on any kind of game system. I just walk out the back door.
I would have fully believed you.
Had a bunch of weeds under our back steps, so I had to take my drill and pull off some of the planks to get them out, and they were covered in what I think are gnats, but I don't really know what a gnat is. They were just like tiny little black bugs, and there was like hundreds of them. So I've determined I had an infestation. We had some old bark under there, so I had to clear all that stuff out because I guess they're attracted to like dead organic matter. So got it down to the dirt, got to try to buy some rocks from the landscape company, put that in. Then I also found out I have something called sod webworm, because we had lots of moths in our lawn. Like when I go and mow the lawn or like walk across it, like little moths kick up here and there. So I Googled, I was like, why do I have moths? Or sorry, I Googled lawn care simulator moth guide. And they basically said these are the evolved form of a sod webworm. And they burrow under the grass and under the dirt, and they just eat at the roots. But they also turn into the disgusting moths, and they're really gross, and I hate them. So I put quite a bit of time into that, and then I came in to wind down and booted up some Flight Simulator. They released the so the way the airports work in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the big, like, I think the game shipped with like 35 custom airports. So like the big ones like SFO in San Francisco or like London Heathrow, like the big international hubs got some extra detail. So they modeled them like true to life. They look the way that you'd expect them to. But most of the airports in standard cities are just kind of auto generated. So they're like kind of like a box. They all look a little bit different, but they don't look anything like their real life counterparts. So that's where the huge market for these flight simulator games is the third party developers, and they work hand in hand with Asobo and Microsoft. Because basically Microsoft, it's basically like how Bethesda works with modders. Microsoft expects these companies to come up and support the game and sell a shitload of copies of their software. So so this company released a my airport, Edmonton International. So it's pretty exciting. I can live my fantasy of hanging out at my local airport. They've got they even modeled the interior of the terminal, so the exterior looks authentic. But they've turned off clipping, so you can like fly the drone cam into the terminal, and they've got the world's tiniest chilies in there, which I used to have like a 6 a.m. Caesar every time I took a flight. The attention to detail is pretty good, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty cool. And then other than that, I'm still just working my way through Assassin's Creed 2, and like, man, I'm enjoying this game, but holy fuck. I'm kind of like, I forgot. So the first Assassin's Creed, I blew through that in like 8 or 9 hours. This one is like, okay, now we're getting
It's bloated.
Oh, it's not bad. I think if I mainlined it, it would still be under 20 hours, which is reasonable. I actually was enjoying it, so I've been like collecting some of the codex pages because I want to get like all of the memories, and there's like these little hidden glyphs and stuff that show you the truth, and there's 20 of them to collect. So I'm gonna do like a little bit of the collectibles. I think I'm 12 hours in, but I'm only like 50%. And it's weird because I looked it up. I'm in the final city or like region. There's like 4 or 5 regions. I'm in the final one, and I'm only 50% through the story. So I'm like, I don't know. I kind of thought I was almost done. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, where it's like I'm enjoying this, but like I'm ready. I'm probably almost finished, and then you find out you're like, what? Fuck! I'm only halfway through. So it killed my buzz a little bit. So that's why I've been like.
I still remember back when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and I was the first person in our group chat to actually finish it. And people were asking me how much was left. I'm like, you've got like 40 hours left. And it was just like, oh my God.
You have a whole game left, bro, which is incredible.
A great game makes you hit that point and you go, oh my God. Like I remember playing Okami for the first time. And Okami, like, you start to think, like, am I getting done with this game? Like, this feels like I might be finishing, like, a short Zelda clone that's pretty good, but, like, scrappy and maybe not. And then you find, and then it rolls the title screen, like, many hours in and goes, that was chapter 1 of, like, 10.
Really?
Okami's huge.
It's like 90 hours.
One game.
Okami rules.
Its own trilogy.
Okami, it's straight up. It pretends to end. It feels like you are hitting the final arc of that game 4 or 5 different times. And this isn't like 3 endings like close together in the last act.
No,
this game feels like several Okami games packed together.
This stands out to me.
It's incredible.
This is distinct to me because I've never played Okami, but I actually remember looking at it years ago and be like, hey, I love this art style. This looks like a cute, fun, like charming game. I should play this. And it looks like an indie game. Like, I bet it's a small game, small studio. It's probably like that sweet spot of like 5 to 6 hours. And I like looked it up on how long to beat, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I mean, and it's not bloated is the thing.
Yeah.
Like it gives you plenty of meaningful like variety to do. It's just that like you finish a game and then it rolls the title screen and says that was the prologue. Like
That's incredible, man.
Okami is so CJ, Okami is so your shit. By the end of it, you will be laughing your ass off.
I can imagine because I never played it. I've always wanted to play it. I never got around to it.
I'm still psyching myself up because I'm finally going to play Persona 5. I think now that it's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be 60 FPS with the new versions.
I've seen video on YouTube that it is. So
I played the intro like twice, and just I think I talked about before. I get like those 5 hours in, and I just remember how much is left. But I really want to try and see it through because I loved Persona 4 Gold. So
I put 70 into that game and lost that save file. Never
Oh,
Fuck.
no.
Oh,
Everyone back.
Fuck.
I
know.
debate, and it wasn't my copy, so I'm like, I can't just like it was I game shared it with my cousin, but I don't have access to that account anymore. So I'm like, oh fuck. And part of me was like, oh, maybe I should restart it once the Xbox version comes out. And I'm like, nah, I kind of like the time I have. You know?
Yeah.
Kinda like
I still haven't played Royal. Like I beat 5 back when it came out and like was in love with that game, faults and all. But I very much waited on Royal because I was like, eventually this will hit something that's not PlayStation 4, and sure the fuck enough it will. So good. I don't have time to go back through Persona 5 again with more content unless the game is going to look substantially prettier, which if I can do it in like 4K 60, hell yeah.
I'm still just kind of bitter about the whole Royal thing because I bought the game right when it came out. And then I never got around to playing it, and then Royal was announced, but like it's not like a DLC or anything.
You can't DLC expand it. They just raw dogged everybody.
They literally were just
it.
like shortly after they're like, buy it again and play it again. And like I hadn't even played it the first time, so like that just kind of put me off playing it entirely.
I was straight up about to say don't buy Persona 6 when it comes out and wait for fucking Persona 6 Verde or whatever, but like
Yeah.
I can't
I actually just want to play the
But I'm
normal
just
Persona
gonna get-
5 because it's shorter.
Yeah. Well,
Can
you
I
can
just quit like at the end of the like with Royal?
The
Can I just...
expanded chunk of Royal, you have to fulfill certain conditions to even get to at the
Okay,
end.
yeah,
so.
good. That's
I know
so
a
I can
bunch
just-
of people that played
You
through
just
the
hit,
whole
like, the
fucking
vanilla
thing
ending.
and then didn't do what they needed to do to access the new
Because it's
content.
really obscure, the kind of shit you got to do. It's quite stupid.
Okay,
Number
but it has
one,
the
I think
intro
that's
song.
actually bullshit. But number two, I like that because I'm just gonna peace out. I got no interest in the extra stuff.
Yeah.
But on
It has a
principle,
new
I don't
intro
like that.
song that's so much better. I love it. It has some new music.
I'm just gonna say it. Persona 4 Golden ruined Persona 4's vibes. I'll just say it.
Oh,
The way worse opening, way worse musical choices. It's anyway.
damn.
While we're on the topic, really quickly, am I the only one bummed that like they're releasing 5, 4, and 3 instead of doing it 3, 4, and 5? I feel
It's
like
a little weird. I mean, they're
because, like-
clearly going for where the money is, but like,
yeah, duh. But I'm because like they're coming out on Game Pass. But I'm like, I already played 5. I played a good chunk of 5. Let me play the ones I have never had access to in my entire life because I wasn't one of the 5 people who had a Vita.
and
let me
3's
play
gonna
this-
be the fucking like neutered portable version.
That's my thing. 3. It seems weird to like drop like the ones that don't have as many bells and whistles after,
Yeah.
or at least drop them all at once.
They don't even have the decency to just give us Persona 3 FES and give us like party control. No, they're just gonna drop Persona 3 portable. Eat shit. Persona 3 fans stay losing. We went on a long tangent about Persona specifically. The game engenders opinions.
Whatever. It's not like we had a ton of stuff we were gonna
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
tonight. So
What have you been
So-
playing, Derek? What have you
Yeah,
been
so
playing?
I've been playing 2 games this past week. I was on vacation, so I couldn't play too much. But on the car ride and in my little bit of downtime, I played a little more Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on my Switch. Which, look, I've said before that Monster Hunter Rise felt like a step backwards to me. Like it felt like 1 step, like 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward. Right? Like there's a lot of really good shit about Rise, but there's a lot of stuff I really dislike. And like Sunbreak does not fix all of my issues with Vanilla Rise, but is now that I'm really into the Sunbreak content, it is a better game. I also switched to Greatsword. I was playing Switch Axe all the way through Vanilla Rise, and it didn't feel very good. I played Switch Axe in World, so I was like, why does this not work? This is a weapon I love using. I switched back to Greatsword, which I haven't used since 4, and oh, there it is. There's my love for this game. So it turns out I needed a bigger slab of metal to hit birds with, I guess. But the
I
other thing
played
I've been
Great
playing,
Sword in World. That was like my
Great Swords
only...
is very satisfying getting a full
Yeah.
charge off. And then I've been playing, as we mentioned in the beginning, I've been playing the new Shin-Chan game. Shin-Chan, me and the professor on summer vacation, the endless 7-day journey. Holy God, that
It's
is
so
a
hard
long
about saying
title.
that.
It's a lot of words. That's like a light novel title.
that's a lot of words, and they don't seem like they all go quite together.
No, but it's it's been interesting. I got a code for it on Tuesday, and I actually streamed the first hour and a half ish of it on Tuesday, which you can watch right here on the official SDGC Twitch channel. But
Caught some bugs.
yeah, caught some bugs. I've played a little more. I want to stream a little more. I'm gonna get my thoughts together and get somebody to do a review discussion with me.
I'll be there. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, this game's really interesting. I don't think it's for me, but I think it's a lovely game. I don't think it's for me. When I like these types of like life sim games, it's something like Rune Factory, where there's still some combat elements involved, and the farming is a little bit more like the farming is a big focus, and like constant things to upgrade that like give you serotonin boosts because you upgraded your bullshit plastic pickaxe into an iron pickaxe or whatever. And Shinchan doesn't have any of that. It's kind of like you get the day and you go out and you catch bugs and you fish and you pick up plants and you do errands for people and you do little bits of story content, and then the day ends, and it's very freeform and open. The vibes are super good.
This actually sounds like my kind of game.
And the sense of humor is funny in kind of a weird, esoteric kind of way that I don't think will hit with everybody. Like a lot of people are used to Shin-Chan and they think of the old Funimation gag dub that was almost like South Park, and that's not really how Shin-Chan is. And this is a much more faithful interpretation. So it's funny, but it's just funny in kind of like a slightly off and weird kind of way that's very innocent. I think for someone like me, this might be a great game to play while I was like watching a movie, right? Or watching a TV show. This is not something that's going to take my full attention. For other people who are not looking for big action games and big RPGs and things where numbers go up, it's a very weird, slightly fantastic game about a weird summer vacation with dinosaurs and time travel, like, and also catching bugs. So, it's interesting, and where I've gotten the game has opened up a lot more. So I'm holding back a lot of my thoughts until I get even further in, because I get the feeling I'm coming to maybe the point where I understand the game best. I'm just not there yet. So, but I've only gotten the chance to put a couple hours in. I've been working a lot of overtime this week. Work's been a little crazy, so I just haven't had a lot of game time. But Shin-Chan's lovely, and people should maybe check out my stream or look into it if they think it might maybe be their kind of thing. That's what I got. Anybody else want to talk about Shin-Chan? Then let's talk about some motherfucking fighting games. Oh, hey, Honorian. What's up, buddy? So, this last week we had EVO, which is North America's, maybe the world's, I don't know. I don't want to justify that, largest fighting game competition. This is the first year that it's been run by Sony, if I'm correct. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Because I know Sony bought out EVO, what was that, last year? And no, John, we're not talking about Final Fantasy. And Sony, so this is Sony's first year hosting EVO. And I think there's a lot to talk about, like a lot of small things to talk about around EVO this year. It was a really well-run event, way cleaner and more put together than it had any right to be. It was an incredibly safe event that put the safety of attendees first in a world where COVID is still running rampant. There were some very cool character reveals for a couple of very big fighting games that served like drastically underserved minority populations in the fighting game community. It was just a very interesting thing. So I guess before we get into this, what is everyone's here's background with fighting games like at all?
I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the arcades.
Hell yeah.
As a kid.
That's good enough.
And I thought I was really good because I got high scores in the arcade mode. And then so I decided to enter a tournament, and I did not know what
you got beat.
I don't think I've really played a fighting game seriously.
Fucking destroyed you.
Well, the funny thing was, I actually made it past the first round because I didn't really know how to do stuff, and so the guy was just like so taken aback that I wasn't doing anything the way you were supposed to. So me and fighting games don't get along. I honestly can't I have a lot of difficulty with fighting games.
Yeah.
Control wise, they don't work with my brain.
Yeah.
I think I'm similar to Justin. I have a lot of respect for them, and I've enjoyed some. I don't know if they're all good games. Like, I'm just thinking back to the ones that stand out to me. I played Clay Fighter on N64 with my friends.
I was really hoping I could say that's a good game to the first game you said, but that's not one of them, man.
So that's probably my first exposure. Not a great start. But I did play. I had a really good time with a few Soul Calibur games. I think it was the
Soul
first
Calibur was good.
Soul
I like
Calibur as a
Soul Calibur.
whole, I love deeply.
I remember liking Nightmare, but I played the one that had Spawn in it. I think it was maybe
Soul
for the
Calibur
original.
2.
Was that the original Xbox?
That's right. The Xbox version had Spawn,
Yeah.
the GameCube version had Link, and the PS2 version had Heihachi, right?
From
Yeah.
Tekken, right?
Yeah.
Talk about fucking loaded, right? Like you got Spawn, you got Heihachi, but you got fucking Link
Yeah.
on the
Back
GameCube.
then,
I played it. I played it on GameCube. That was awesome.
Like back then we had like cool features and like exclusives like console versions. Now we get like stupid comments about frame rates and shit.
Yeah.
We can't get anything.
But yes, I played that. I tried really hard to get into one of the Guilty Gear games, I think on PS3 maybe. My coworker is a big fighting game. He used to go to local tournaments, so I went to his place and he tried to teach me a little bit.
Guilty
and
Gear will
then-
break your spirit if you
Yeah.
don't know fighting games. It's brutal.
But I heard it had a really good tutorial system. I think that's what got me in. It might have been Guilty Gear Xrd. I can't remember. And then I bought Dragon Ball Fighters because I was like, just Dragon Ball is like the one kind of like nostalgic anime series. Where I was like, if anything can get me into a fighting game, it's like because I remember when I was a kid. So actually, this was maybe one of the first fighting games I played. Sorry, I'm going on a little too long here, but
Go ahead.
I remember just like everyone fucking lost their mind over. I don't think it was a good game. But it was like not available in the US. I think it was Dragon Ball GT. But it was like other than like I think there was like a Super Nintendo one, but
Oh, are you talking about that PS1 game?
it was a PS1
Dude,
fighting
yes, that
game
shitty
based on
PS1
Dragon Ball
game.
GT.
Yeah,
And I think everyone had to. We all took our PlayStation 1s to a local shop that would mod it to
Yeah.
play this.
Yeah, so
Uh,
many people like I knew imported
Yeah.
that game, and then it sucked shit. They paid
Yeah.
like $150 for a copy of it.
Yeah,
and
but-
it turns out it was just really bad.
So I was like Dragon Ball Fighter. I was like, okay, here's an actually genuinely well received fighting game. It's Dragon Ball. But what I found with fighting games is like I respect them, and I actually have a good time learning some of the fundamentals, and everything makes sense. They tell me here's how you pull off these combos. Here's how countering works. Here's this. Some of them even get talking to frame cancels, and I'm like, okay, this is high end, but I can handle this. And then the minute I actually get into a match, my brain just dissolves into like the end of Infinity War, when like, and I just. And I'm up against the wall, and whether it's a computer or another player, I'm just like being juggled and beat the shit, and I can't remember even the most basic functions, and I just so it doesn't work for me. But
It's getting
I think they're
dumpstered.
cool.
Yeah.
I think they're
CJ.
neat.
Yeah, fighting games. No, not like the only two series that I truly love to death. Are Super Smash Bros. Because I've been playing Melee religiously like since I was young. Like that's like that is my game. And I've loved every game in the series since then. And of course, and Mortal Kombat. Specifically starting with 9. Mortal Kombat 9's like
Mortal Kombat didn't become good until 9. Like, let's make it clear. Every game before then sucked.
those first 3 games, the arcade games aren't that great. I like some of the PS2, the 3D games because I played with my uncle a lot. So that's like where I got introduced to M-rated games because I just saw like dude get like fucking ripped apart.
Yeah.
But 9's like a masterpiece. I think
9's like an actually good. 9, 10, and 11 are genuinely good ass games.
9 is like one of the great. It's like maybe the greatest fighter, the greatest non-Smash fighter ever. And then 10 is just 9 on PS4, which I didn't love. I think a lot of the choices in 10 are like, ugh. 11, oh my god, I waited like in line like at 9 o'clock at GameStop for that game. I truly adore Mortal Kombat 9. 11. I don't like a lot of the choices that were made with the way it plays, but like that's like I could play that game. Not good at it. I'll get fucking washed online. I'll get fucking washed against like anyone who's like mildly good, but like I know how to play that game. That and Injustice like 1 and 2 are like I know how to play those games because they all follow that same framework.
I forgot to mention I own Injustice 2 on Steam, and I fully intend on playing through it still because I heard the story is good and
you should play Injustice 1 first. Like the story actually really does follow. You can get Injustice 1 for nothing these days.
I own it on PS4.
But they're
I have
pretty.
a digital copy.
You can beat the story mode without being good at fighting games.
I've never played those story modes. I played the Mortal Kombat story modes because but I never.
NetherRealm has pretty good story modes.
Man.
Like.
God, no, they understand. The thing is with the NetherRealm fighting game, because you know when Street Fighter 6 came out, everyone's sorry, 2 out of 5, sorry. When that came out, everyone was kind of bummed about like how bare bones the package was in total. Then you read about like the Mortal Kombat games by NetherRealm, like the recent ones. They're packed to the gills with like a bunch of shit.
They know what like people who are not gonna be going to tournaments want to do with fighting games.
Because Mortal Kombat's like one of the few fighting games that's like that. That's like, there's a crossover. There's like I think the biggest crossover appeal of like any mainstream like my fighting series. Everyone knows Mortal Kombat. Everyone knows like that
Mortal Kombat and Smash Bros are like the fighting games for like people who do not want to go to tournaments because they just give you so much shit to do that doesn't require you to get good at the game and go to a tournament or play online mode and get your ass fucking dumpstered. You know what I mean?
I mean that's why I'm excited about Street Fighter 6 because I want to like what has the more simplified inputs option. And stuff like I just want to be a
dedicated, like pretty interesting, like single player mode.
Yeah, like I just want to be able to pick one up and actually like, check it out a little bit.
I've always wanted to get into Street Fighter specifically on Switch because they have all these collections, specifically like the Street Fighter 2 like compilation or like I've always wanted to.
Street Fighter is the culture, man. Like Street Fighter is like fighting game culture revolves around Street Fighter in a way that's really hard to explain. Like it is a big deal that Street Fighter 6 matters, right? Like five being a fucking wet fish flopping onto the ground was just devastating for fighting game fans. And
it's as like an outsider looking in, it's kind of wild because like there have been other successful fighting games since Street Fighter 5 came out, like Dragon Ball Fighter, Fighter Z.
Like ArcSys has done wonderful.
ArcSys has done well. I mean, NetherRealm has done well, but like, and like a lot of those games,
fucking
sell
Samurai
better
Showdown came back, and King of Fighters, like. But like I'm a big fighting game dude, so I can't play them competitively anymore. I just don't have the reflexes, but I still love and play way too many of them, and I just pick them up and do whatever story content there is, and then like fuck around in training mode with all the characters' kits to see what I can do. But So, what
else do you want to say about Evo?
So there's a couple things. First, and Imran Khan over at Fanbyte actually had a great like article and set of Twitter posts. Twitter posts is a very formal way to say that about the subject. But like Evo was exceptionally well run this year. They required vaccinations for every attendant. Like I believe no exceptions. You got like armbanded when you provided proof of vaccination, and you could not go anywhere without the armband. And then they had like enforcers who made sure that people kept masked up on top of being vaccinated. So it's not that fucking hard, right? But if you're going to get that many people together in a venue like that and into a giant exposition for gaming, you can get press, content creators, competitors, all these types of folks together in one place, enthusiasts, like put the safety of your attendees first. And it's so wild to me that Evo got this so right so easily in a way that like Gamescom, PAX, GDC, all of these other events are sometimes kind of flopping, right? Don't even get into fucking anime conventions that are just like, hey, come on in, bring the plague, go right ahead.
Anime and furry conventions that are like
Jesus. Well, look, furry conventions is a whole different story, but fucking anime cons, man, like you might as well just you might as well just give yourself smallpox before, when you go in there. And I think that's really important. And I guess in that regard, I wanted to know what you all felt about that. I know that some of us are paying more attention to the con scene than others. I don't want to go back to a place like PAX until I feel safe. And, it feels like EVO kind of sets the stage for, like, this is really how it should be done.
Yeah, I don't really have anything other than add than it was nice to hear about somebody actually putting in the effort instead of like some of these other cons where like, well, people are just going to do things around it and then take their masks off anyway. Like, it still seems like people, putting it in the effort and putting in the work actually did something.
That's my thing is like, I think the whole world said like, the pandemic's still going on, but this is hard. So we all give up. So it's nice. It's nice that there's still some people and some organizations and some places that are like, yeah, it's hard, but we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep trying because, it might help a little bit. So I respect that. Well,
and like, we need to see long term, right? Every one of these, GDC came with people getting COVID. PAX came with people getting COVID. Like all these events just come with a certain bump afterwards. And it is felt unavoidable. And I guess I would like to see if that bump happens again post Evo, or if Evo can really.
Think, what made Evo different? That's the thing that.
Well, this isn't they enforce this shit, right? Like, be vaccinated, remain masked at all times. We're gonna enforce this.
What I'm curious is, what do you think made them enforce? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like
I think Sony is taking, because it's Sony running it. So Sony, I think, takes this shit very. Remember when we were all making fun of Sony for pulling out of PAX East 2020?
Yeah,
because we thought they were overblowing COVID, and like in the long term, God, I feel like a dumb shit.
Conference.
Yeah, I brought everyone the fucking bubonic plague, and I'm sorry.
I'm still convinced you all had COVID. I know the tests. I know for sure.
God damn. But yeah, so I think Sony just is like, look, we're gonna take this fucking seriously. Sony is a corporation. Is significantly bigger, Brits in chat, than like Reed Pop, right? So like, I just think that like Reed Pop can do their best, but Sony has a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Sony has every reason to play it aggressively on the safe side, because also like, what are you going to do? Not go to EVO? If you're a competitor, you're going to EVO.
He's also really trying to endear itself to like the tournament scene and competitive gaming in a way that I don't think some of the other platform holders are. And, obviously owning EVO is a big part of that, but they're really trying to endear themselves to that community and really show a level of professionalism and commitment to it. And I think they made a pretty big statement this year with Evo.
Sony's outreach was also really good, because it seems to me, right, as somebody who pays some attention to Evo and somebody who is also at least partially connected to gaming Twitter, that this year had a lot more journalists and content creators and influencers who were not necessarily fighting game folks going to Evo and invited to Evo, and then coming back and talking about like the hype of fighting game culture.
Well, and that's something I've even noticed. Like,
you had folks like Khalif Adams and like Cam Hawkins going, who were, I don't think Cam went, but like people who were not necessarily like, they may like fighting games, but their shtick isn't fighting games, right? But they were brought because, and it's, you know what? I'm going to also say this. It seems like there's an awful lot of POC content creators and influencers who got invited to Evo, and journalists. And I think it's very cool, because the fighting game community's bread and butter is Black and Hispanic players.
Yes.
If you just want to be honest.
Yeah. And like, I mean, even to me, there was something about how people talked about Evo this year, even among people that are really into fighting games, that felt different. I am somebody
everybody's talking about like, oh, maybe I should pick up this game and just give it a shot. Like,
yeah. And like, cause like, everything I've seen has been like really like the FGC has kind of been very off-putting to me with like constant trash talk and like oh, you're trash, you suck, you there's this whole like weird like hype and like thing, and I know it's all just part of the culture, and it's just it's just part of being competitive, but it's something that's always been really off-putting to me about the fighting game community. And there was something that seemed a lot more communal about how people talked about Evo this year. And I don't know if it was just from, not having it for a while and then finally having a proper in-person event or what. But there was something that made it, like, it finally kind of made me see, oh, there actually is a community here. It's not just a bunch of people like talking shit about each other.
Yeah. Well, and it feels like smart outreach,
cool.
right? Because
Yeah.
like it feels like all it really takes is having more people talking positively about fighting games and what the genre means to them and what specific games mean to them, and to get people excited and show people cool shit to make people go, oh yeah, like maybe this is something I will dip my toes back into, right? And even if people don't, like, people talking positively is only good. So it just feels like Sony's approach has been very good for fighting games as a genre, and very good for the FGC as a whole.
Kind of bouncing off of that, and this is kind of tangentially related to Evo and Sony, but I think it is interesting. So it's a bit more of a technical thing, but basically when the PS5 came out, fighting game community is really into stats on like input latency and stuff like that, and PS5 was actually slower than a lot of other platforms, including even the PS4 and PS4 Pro. And people were really nervous about Sony taking over Evo specifically because of that, because obviously, they're going to want stuff played on PlayStation. And they actually have been working directly. A lot of the games affected were Unreal Engine games. Not all of them, but a good portion of them. And updates have been rolling out for a lot of these games that have now made PS5 the most responsive platform for them.
Yeah, they've developed the like specific monitors and like headsets that are very clearly like esports oriented. And
well, that too. But I mean, this is just like something that I think it's specifically benefiting fighting games right now, but I think it'll probably actually benefit games across the board. And
for
just
sure.
being more responsive on PS5 than they were before, which is a great benefit that like everybody, playing games on the platform will get. And it comes from this, relationship they have now with the fighting game community, which I think is really cool. And I like seeing stuff like that, especially when you are, a major platform holder.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying seeing the progress on that, and it seems like it really has paid off recently.
Yeah. Now, I guess kind of the last bit about Evo that I think is kind of worth noting is Evo is always a big place for fighting game stuff to get announced, right? New fighting games have a tendency to get announced at Evo if they're ready in time to be shown off at Evo. Oftentimes new characters are shown off at Evo, which is like kind of the center of the hype cycle around fighting games, is, the reveal of characters leading up to release, and then that post-launch content of like who's coming next, which returning characters, old school or reinvented, what new characters are coming that are going to be like super, super hype. And we had a couple of really interesting ones for a couple of major games at Evo that served like kind of underserved communities in gaming in a lot of ways. So Street Fighter 6 revealed two characters. They revealed Juri, who's a returning character that horny bottoms the world over love. And then I don't know how else to put it, man. Like, she's a crazy psychotic foot fetish dominatrix spider kick woman. I mean, like, what else? It's Street Fighter. They also revealed Kimberly. And if you all have not seen, I would suggest you look up like Street Fighter 6 Kimberly real quick.
The trailer is cool.
Yeah, it's a good character. Like, the character looks like a lot of fun to play, yada yada. But here's the thing, like, surprisingly, despite the fact that Black and Hispanic players make up a huge, if not like the majority of the fighting game audience, there's a surprising lack of melanin in most fighting games. So Kimberly being a new like female Black character, and then not just that, but also not being a fetishized, like white fetishized version of what a dark-skinned woman would look like. And like, I'm gonna call Street Fighter out on this as much as I love it, because like Elena is there to live up to white standards of beauty despite being an African character. Menat is the same thing. Menat is like for horny anime loving boys, right? Menat doesn't look like a black woman, but Kimberly looks like a shitload of black girls that I know. So of course nerds on the internet got mad that she's not sexy enough or whatever. But I think it's very cool of Capcom to recognize these kind of gaps and try to serve a broader audience. If people haven't seen the leaked Street Fighter 6 roster, it is like way better at serving a much larger.
It's way more diverse, and also just the designs are really good in general.
Yes, a lot of them are leaning into breaking away from a lot of the conventions of. There's a lot less fucking blonde-haired white guys, which is just a Street Fighter 5 problem in general.
And I think Street Fighter, like, there was actually like a specific. I wish I could find the quotes quickly because there was like there was some actual questions where they talked about like how hip hop and like is like influencing Street Fighter 6.
Could not be clearer.
And they specifically have said like this is a big part of our community. This is a big part of people that like fighting games. So we're making this a base that we're building off of for Street Fighter 6. And I just thought that was really cool because it's like it's clearly growing with your audience. It's adapting a franchise to be with your audience, but like not like, and it's evolving it to fit. Which I think is really cool because it feels kind of natural for Street Fighter to move in that direction too, given the community around it. So it seems like they're really cognizant of this and really trying to get some of it right.
Yeah, well, like Street Fighter 3 kind of accidentally hit that like blending point.
Yeah,
of is that like Wu-Tang fusion of like hip hop and kung fu kind of shit that like that struck a chord with Western fighting game fans who were already, again, overwhelmingly black and Hispanic. And Street Fighter didn't really like stick to that because 4 was very like, hey, we made Street Fighter 2 again. And then 5 was very like, hey, we had a year to make a Street Fighter game. But like 6 does feel like they went, okay, we know who our fan base is. We see that this kind of aesthetic, this very like street graffiti, like hip hop kind of aesthetic is underserved in fighting games in general, and that it vibes with so many people that it's got just the right level of like kind of attitude for like something that is meant to be both competitive but also friendly. So yeah, like that's a big deal for Street Fighter 6, and they're doing a good job, and Kimberly looks excellent, and I look forward to more of these characters getting revealed. So the other big one was Guilty Gear revealed a new, not really a new character. It's Bridget. Bridget is a famous, long-standing Guilty Gear character who was missing from the previous entry. Bridget caused a bit of a shitstorm, mostly with the wrong kinds of folks. So
can you explain this? Because
let me explain this because
the stuff that they confirmed about Bridget was what I just thought the character was.
Right. So this is going to require some explanation. Bridget originally and famously is a male character that dresses up like a female nun, otherwise known as a nun. There's some bullshit story like justification about like the town that they come from. Twins are a bad omen from God, and the twins can't both be boys. So because the older twin was because they were both born, assigned male at birth, that like Bridget had to be raised as a girl to not get exiled. And the parents revealed to them the truth that they were actually a boy at a certain age. And like, it's bullshit because it was just story justification to have like in the, when did Guilty Gear X hit? Was that like, that's early 2000s, right? To have a character who got to be like a boy and a girl, right? Like, and Japan's not always been very good about this stuff. Love to Daisuke Ishiwatari, the head of Guilty Gear, but like, and the thing is, Bridget was really popular with kind of the worst crowd in the early days of the internet, to be honest with y'all. I don't know if we have any former 4chan lurkers around here. I'm ashamed to say that I was early in the site's life cycle, but like those folks were fucking in love with Bridget. And the whole point of it was that you'd be like, you know, you'd be into Bridget, like, oh, she's pretty, or like, oh, she's sexy, whatever. And then like, psych, there's a penis. Like, it's rooted in what we now recognize as pretty blatant transphobia, even if the character was not really trans in game. But we didn't talk about trans people in 2001, right? Like, it was all the same shit. Cross-dressers and trans people were the same thing to most human beings on the planet at that time, unfortunately. And it's been kind of messy. And what, you know, like I said, the character was missing from the previous game, presumably because he didn't know what to do with this character. But Bridget came back, and Bridget is now canonically a trans woman. That is, in fact, the point of their story, is them coming to terms with their struggle with their own gender identity and being born into a male body and raised and socialized as a girl from a young age, but then revealed the truth while they were young and kind of working out where they feel they belong. And they've decided that they are a woman. That's the point of their story. It's a big deal. Trans women are like in love with the fact that they have some representation in fighting games. But of course, there's been backlash. I want to make it clear, not all the backlash has been like the bad backlash. There's genuinely like gender non-conforming cis men who I fucking refuse to use the term femboy. I'm sorry. The word is too rooted in fetishization and like I'm not doing that. But there are genuinely like gender non-conforming men who like, you know, having a femme appearance and dressing femme, but still being cis men who felt some level of representation with Bridget, and that's gone. And I do get that. But the bulk of the backlash has been fucking horny weirdos on the internet that don't like, and you know that all the people with like anime avatars that talk about, by the way, like John went through some of the people, I said something on Twitter and had, of course, got swarmed. And like, if you look through these people's mentions, a lot of them are like, you know, liking and sharing like fucking lolicon and fucking incest porn and shit. And it's like, this is exactly why I don't care what people...
the scholars.
Yeah, exactly. So your average anime fan.
The scholars.
Yeah. But, God, it fucking sucks enjoying some anime because I share the space with these fucking people. But, you know, it's just been kind of weird. And like, the backlash has sucked shit, and those types of people, the fucking anime avatars, can eat my well-washed asshole. But like, I get that there are some gender non-conforming men who found some similarity in Bridget, which is a character that admittedly has not been relevant in a hot minute. Like, you fuckers have fucking, what's their name, Astolfo from Fate. Like, you're fine. You have multiple cat boys that are drawn just as girls that you can hyperfixate over. God, I'm trying not to be a bitchy queer, but it's a bigger deal for trans women to have that representation than cis men who want a non-conforming aesthetic, because in the end, you're still cis men. You are still more privileged in society than trans women. And like, by the way, the same folks who want trans women to remain invisible are the same folks who are not going to approve of cis men in dresses either. Right? Like, who is out there being like, now, trans women I don't like, but if a boy wants to wear a flowery dress, that's just fine with me. I don't know why he's also an old-timey prospector. But now, thankfully, a lot of the backlash against Kimberly, the Street Fighter character, got kind of overshadowed because it turns out the exact same people who are mad about black people in video games are the same people mad about trans people in video games. Funny how that works.
Would have thought.
Yeah, I know. And they just got more pissed off over the trans girl than they did over the black girl. But this time, anyway. But for all of that, it was just really cool to see where like the biggest character reveals out of Evo this year were to two drastically underserved audiences that tend to deeply love fighting games. So Evo is good shit. Fighting games, good shit, and it's okay if you suck at them. That's what I got. Bustin, you want to talk about Unity?
so okay, where do we start?
Now we get to the full blown shit talking part of the podcast.
Okay.
I did my social justice ranger monologue, and now.
So there's basically been three things over the past couple weeks that have come up with Unity.
See, I only knew the most recent one, but so I'm glad you're here.
You kind of need the background of the other two because it seems like Unity is very desperate for money. And
fucking me too.
Yeah, but you're not one of the two biggest
That's
game
true.
engines.
I'm not fucking John Riccatello.
Yeah. So John Riccatello, announced recently that Unity is actually going to be merging with a company that does basically monetization and like in-app purchases for a lot of like mobile games. And they're going to be integrating a lot of stuff about planning monetization directly into Unity. And basically had a statement where he said if you're not planning on monetization at the earliest stages of game development, you're a fucking idiot.
Of course, John fucking Riccatello, multiple time former CEO of EA.
He used the words fucking idiot.
What has to be fucking wrong with you to be the head of EA, right? And run that company into the ground and leave and come right back and do it again. Yeah. My God.
So obviously,
what a fail son.
A lot of developers that make, artsy independent titles that are being made just for the art of it, are built on Unity. And it alienated a lot of developers that work directly on Unity. He made a stupid like Notes app apology or whatever.
It's always the Notes app.
It wasn't the Notes app, but it was
it's
basically
the same
that
shit.
kind of
it's
thing.
The same shit.
Justin,
Pepsi
was this
instead of Coke?
So did this go through? Was this that App Lovin' deal?
Okay, so that's the second thing.
Oh my God.
So, this company called App Lovin'.
I googled it because my first thought was
changed
McLovin.
your name to App Lovin'?
On the Wikipedia page, it explicitly says they did not name it after McLovin. For Superbad.
I'm looking up their Wikipedia page now.
So basically, App Lovin' has come into the picture, and App Lovin' has offered to buy Unity under the condition that they do not merge with the previously mentioned monetization service. App Lovin' is also a monetization servist. I don't know how that's going to go. Something tells me that's probably not going to happen.
The Wikipedia page, so the first like set of lines in history do say that it's definitely not named after the character from Superbad. But the second paragraph opens with the company operated in stealth mode until 2014, yada, 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 before emerging from stealth mode. And I just gotta know, like, stealth mode's not like some official and frequently used piece of corporate jargon, right? This is...
So basically, this company has offered to buy more than 50% of the voting shares for Unity at an 18% premium over their stock price, with the stipulation that they do not go through with the previously announced merger that they said they were going through with. Which is like that's a mess in its own sense.
I love that there are voting shares and non-voting shares because companies as a concept were a failure. Anyway.
No, like it's literally like they're not buying over 50% of the shares, but they're buying over 50% of the voting shares, so they would own the company. Yeah, it's dumb. And then today, we just recently found out that Unity has taken a multi-million-dollar deal from the American government for defense contracts. And so, yeah, it's a multi-million-dollar contract to help the U.S. government with defense. That's the details that we know about that. So, yeah, Unity's been not looking so great to a lot of the people that use Unity. I think that's kind of the big thing. Like, I mean, you look at all this stuff and it's all just a lot of bad corporate bullshit. But like, think about the developers that work on Unity and make Unity games. It's not a lot of the big AAA guys. It's a lot of independent developers that are able to quickly get something up and running. A lot of the stuff done on Unity is done. Well, okay, there's also the people that just buy a couple assets off the App Store and then throw it on Steam for $10.
I mean, sure, I was going to say, but maybe that's the problem is noted business smart boy John Riccatello. Am I pronouncing his name right? I don't give a shit. He doesn't deserve that respect.
I think you're right.
Yeah, fucking gargle my sack, John Riccatello. Take a flying fuck at a rolling donut. But it went, well, you know what? We got all these like fucking indie games that sell for like $10 and $15 and have no microtransactions. And really the problem is we don't have enough shitty mobile games with predatory practices.
Yeah, it just sucks. Like, there are a lot of development teams right now that are wishing they could or thinking about jumping ship from Unity because of all these announcements, and it's going to be really interesting to see where things go in the future, because Unity's already been struggling up against the juggernaut that is Unreal Engine. I think there was a recent announced stat that like something like 50% of the games announced for like next gen consoles or something are running on Unreal or something like that. Like, it's huge. And they're getting more involved.
Good ass engine.
Yeah. But I mean, they're also getting more involved even in like TV and stuff. Like, Mandalorian uses Unreal Engine for the sets.
Fucking use Unreal Engine at the TV station I work at for graphics generation.
Oh, really?
Like, we do. Our graphic designers, all of our like animations at this point are made not in stuff like After Effects, not in stuff like they're made in well, I mean, we make the models in, but like it's all animated in Unreal Engine. Like, yeah.
So, I mean, Unity
when you see our
struggling.
furry mascot telling people about snow on the roads, that commercial was made in Unreal. Because my station does have multiple furries in the top floor.
Like, Unity is just basically they're just going for a quick buck for the solution to their problems instead of like talking to the development community and figuring out what they need to do to make their engine more appealing to a wider swath of games. Basically, that's just where it is. But yeah, it's a bummer. It's a real bummer. Oh, also, they also did a huge round of layoffs a couple months after saying there would under no circumstances be layoffs.
I fucking love that could be like fourth on a list of, not necessarily in severity, just like that's the amount of shit going on with Unity.
I mean, that was a couple weeks ago. All this other stuff was in like the past week.
I mean, my God.
Yeah, no, it's been a bad month for Unity.
What happens if I just Google search Unity Engine right now?
I mean,
and go to the news tab. Oh, not good. But yeah, no, this shit where they're gonna work with the US Army and like various defense agencies is like, what are they gonna design like user interfaces for drones so we can fucking bomb more weddings? Like, what's?
I mean, most likely it's gonna be like simulation training stuff.
Yeah, but
like, yeah, it just always sucks when actual like game companies are brought for that instead of just like, you know.
I just did what Derek did. I Google News Unity. Mercedes-Benz is changing their operating system to be Unity powered starting in 2024.
Well, that's weird. What? How does that
I don't
work?
think that would be a great choice, but
No,
okay.
I did not see that coming.
Like, is it the same Unity?
Yeah.
It has to be.
Unity Engine will power their infotainment system of the Mercedes-Benz.
It really just seems like
2024 vehicles.
rickety fucking cricket is like looking for any business deal he can, whether it makes sense or not.
No,
There's no way Unity's flexible enough to be like your car's entertainment system and also designing like targeting systems for fucking warheads and also a game engine. Like,
yeah, no, it's just they're literally just taking money from anybody that will give it to them. And also,
is it a
I'm
sinking
really,
ship, do you think? Like, and they're just looking for any money to keep afloat?
I think so. I really think that they had no plan to counter, especially like Unreal Engine 5 and stuff, because I mean they already put out a roadmap that says that they are almost ready to ship several major things that were like the key complaints about Unreal Engine 5. Like Epic's getting ready to fix those things relatively early in the life of Unreal Engine 5. Like like Unity's been struggling to get their like there's like a high-end version of Unity that is like the high graphics
That is
version.
the funniest phrase I've heard all fucking day. The high-end version of Unity.
I forgot what the actual abbreviation but it's essentially like, oh, if you want to make a big AAA game, this is the one you'll use. It's the one they make all their cool tech demos and stuff in. That has not
cool
been
Unity tech
production.
demo.
Huh?
I've never seen a cool Unity tech demo.
No, there's actually a couple really good ones in the past couple years. They're actually really cool shorts. But I mean that's here not there. It works for making a tech demo. The actual making a game on that is like, I think Escape from Tarkov is the only game that has actually released using that, and Tarkov is still kind of held together with duct tape. So yeah, they haven't been able to get that off the ground, and I think not being able to get that going has been one of the things that has really held them back, because they can't be like, look at this awesome AAA game and it's running on Unity or anything. They just can't get it off
was
the
made
ground.
on Unity. Fucking Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were made in Unity. What?
Wait, really?
I mean, those games also look like they're like original DS games, kind of, but despite being remakes of original DS games, I'm exaggerating, but yeah, woof. Yeah, the list of games made in Unity is like, there is some stuff, right?
No, I mean,
Ori,
there's some good games. That
Ori
have been
was
on-
made in Unity. Looks like both Ori games, and like those are good.
I don't know.
Tony Stewart's sprint car racing. Anyway,
I don't know. Just like Unity kind of used to be like, I mean, they were big, but like compared to Unreal, they were like this scrappy underdog. Kind of that people rooted for and was like really in line with indie devs, and the past couple months have really killed that reputation.
fucking run your company to the ground, speed run strat. Sign a deal with the fucking DoD.
Yeah, he's not quite Phil Harrison level, but Riccatello's up there.
Oh God.
Okay, like if you aren't familiar with Phil Harrison, he was one of the heads of PlayStation during the PS3 era. Then he was one of the heads of Xbox during the early Xbox One era, and then he ran Stadia.
That's quite,
I
quite
just
the
need
resume.
you all to know what Phil Harrison's job, like his entire career has been.
Are you sure? Like, is he a stealth Nintendo agent that was just sent in?
Just
Phil Harrison is like, what's the fucking one analyst? Pachter. Michael
yeah.
Pachter. Like Phil Harrison like takes advice from Michael Pachter on his career choices. Like
Fuck.
But yeah, no, and I have a feeling things are going to get worse before they get better for
Delaby
Unity.
said he also had a stint at Atari, I believe, which
Great.
oof.
I mean, Atari these days.
Atari hasn't been a good name to be attached to since the 1980s.
Yeah, no, like Atari these days still exists, so that like boomer websites can run an argument like Atari's going out of business, and people are like, "Oh my god, you're going out of business!" When everybody that follows video games is like, Atari hasn't gone out of business yet,
and so they can sell cheap little like plug and play console in a boxes.
Compilations on PlayStation.
Yeah.
They gotta like have. There needs to be a podcast with like every single one of these executives. They gotta get Don Matrick, Phil Harrison, I don't know, all these guys.
Fucking worst
Harrison
executives
and
in
Matrick
gaming.
work together on the Xbox One.
That's a
Suicide
dream
Squad.
team.
Straight up, put all these guys together in like a panel, like hosted by some like. Please, Keeley needs to get them together. He needs to get all these like awful all these awful guys together and like
The fucking bad gaming executive Avengers.
Yeah. they're gonna save the Intellivision.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna work on the Intellivision and Miko. They're gonna bring it.
Ask him what we got to do to get fucking ColecoVision to come back. Like,
The Magnavox Odyssey will come back. It's up to Phil Harrison. What Stadia shut down now? He has time.
no, Stadia is definitely not shutting down, you guys. Definitely not. Didn't they put out that the statement that was like, we're not going anywhere, and it's like, okay, bud. You're a Google product, so yes, you are, but
yeah, no, I mean, they might not have been told that they're.
He is the only. Everyone up top at Stadia is like they're in denial. Everyone like in development is like already looking for other jobs.
Well, I mean, so this is a funny. I mean, we're way off topic now, but I mean, the main thing is just
we're
Unity
having fun.
Suck shit right now. But okay, so I remember I made a tweet that was criticizing Stadia a couple years back. And some site called Stadiaphobia tweeted me and like tried to sick its followers on me, and then like two of them had like a half-hearted attempt at coming at me.
When you say two, you mean all of their followers?
Yeah,
right?
all of them. Yeah, that was probably all of them. But it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, I wasn't even mad. I'm like, okay, yeah, bring it, Stadiaphobia account.
You gotta respect it. You gotta respect that hustle. Straight up. You know what? I would much rather get attacked by the Stadia crowd than any PlayStation or Xbox fan. Like, if you see like a Google profile picture on Twitter, stay the fuck away from us.
But yeah, that one was really funny because I just laughed, and also I was completely right.
Oh,
that was Phil Harrison's alt account.
What
that was.
Oh my god, y'all. I mean, I think we're kind of we've run out of things to do, but this has been a fun show. I've needed some good laughing. We had like some cool shit, and we got to dunk on some weirdos,
Cool shit.
which is always good. I don't know, like we might as well just call it. Like we could vamp for 8 minutes, or we could just call it.
Why don't we do one quick thing here?
All right. Hey, if you got something,
we probably
let's
do
go.
this from time to time. Why don't we just each give one thing we're kind of excited about?
Oh,
Could be
there
like
we go.
Next week, few weeks, a month, whatever. Like what?
Yeah, let's say within the next month.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, Justin. What are you excited about in the next month, games wise, or anything?
I'm looking forward to Last of Us Part 1. It'll be nice to replay that game again. You know, I mean, I've played it 8 times, but hey, this one will be a little bit different because it'll have a new coat of paint on it. So,
you ready for fucking discourse for no goddamn reason?
I'm gonna check out of it entirely. I don't care.
I'm not here.
Yeah.
That Diary Sport. It's incredible.
Like, honestly, that series has almost become Star Wars level of I really love this and I can't talk about it with anybody. But I mean, I am looking forward to that. But let's see, what else isn't Splatoon 3 coming out relatively soon?
September 9th.
Yeah, that's
because
the
I have it
9th.
in Fantasy Critic.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, yeah. Okay, then I'm looking forward to Splatoon. I haven't played much on my Switch in a while, actually. But so, like, during the pandemic, there was just one week I was really bored because I was This was when I was in my apartment, unemployed. I was like 5 months unemployed at this point, alone in my apartment, and I just picked up Splatoon 2, and it was delightful.
They're great games. They've
happy.
got great single player modes. They're fun to play online. The vibes are excellent.
I might get Splatoon 3 just because I missed the boat in Splatoon 2, and I love online shooters so much and this seems like my jam. Considering I love Jet Set Radio and I love shit like that.
And like the single player stuff is really cool. And like I played part of the expansion, but the expansion was really hard. I didn't finish.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to finish it. But like
Also,
I really like how they kind of merge platforming and traversal and stuff. So yeah, I guess I'm really looking forward to Splatoon 3.
Also, Splatoon
Nice.
3 has him, the
Yeah.
big man.
The big man.
The big man. Love the big man. Respect the big man. I'll go next. So I'm really looking, and I didn't realize it was coming this soon. I guess I don't know why time got away from me, but I'm really excited for the new Saints Row, y'all.
Yes, bro,
Like,
that's my most anticipated
I
game.
love. I mean, there's other stuff
Isn't
this
that
year.
like next week or something?
It's the
weeks from now.
That's soon.
23rd. It's the
Oh, shit.
23rd.
So, like,
But yeah,
2
it's
weeks.
coming soon.
And
like-
Saints Row 3 was like my favorite open world game of the
I
360.
love Saints Row
Oh my
3.
God, the everything from like jumping out of a helicopter to Kanye's power to like the actual
Yes.
the toilet bit where
Also,
you're like playing.
it's like, look, Grand Theft. Here's the thing, like Grand Theft Auto still plays worse than Saints Row. Saints Row 3 plays better than Grand Theft Auto 5. The driving is better. The gunplay is better. Like, it is a better game to play, which is fucked to
weird
say.
because it's like they got the best elements of like arcadey third person shooters and like arcadey racing games and meshed them together. Because like the driving plays like Burnout, even down to like the way the road.
Yeah,
the,
it's surprisingly good driving mechanics.
Yeah,
Remember when we got that amazing Saints Row 3 remaster that no one asked for out of nowhere? And it was actually
Dude,
yeah,
pretty
so
good.
it was like basically a full remake.
Yeah.
I reviewed it and I'm like, holy shit, this is the greatest thing in the world.
Game's
Oh my
fucking-
god.
And like Saints Row 2 was excellent. Like I love Saints Row 2. I love Saints Row 3. I even like Saints Row 4, even if I thought
Saints
it
Row
went kind of in the wrong
4 has-
direction.
I
Like,
played
Greatest
3 and
open ending
4.
game.
Like
Which one
three,
is
3
is
and
that?
4 were ones that I basically ended up. I think it was they did one of those things where like, oh, the new one's coming out in a month or two, so we're gonna put it on PlayStation Plus. And so I basically played through like I marathon 3 and then I bought 4 right when it came out, and then just kept on going. And it was awesome. I've only done that with a few games ever. I think Borderlands is another one that I did it with. I forgot that new Saints Row's out soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to afford it, but
Talking
I'm
about-
hoping it's good. I'm hoping it's good. I'll get to it eventually.
I believe it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But yeah, just Saints Row. Saints Row is going to be good. I love Saints Row 3. I mean, like I said, I love 2 as well. And seeing that this is something that's kind of in between 2 and 3 in terms of its like level of escalation, right? Is
I mean, they
like
had to
a
pull it
sweet
spot.
spot.
They
And
had
you
to
have
pull
to,
it back.
but
at some
that's
point.
where Saints Row needs to be. Saints Row needs to live in the like Archer zone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? In terms of like level of escalation and bullshit.
it needs to work its way back up to like the Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah.
It's a new generation. We only had one Saints Row game in the during the PS4 era. You know, and that was Saints Row 4 technically. No, not even, because that was like
No,
that
they were
was-
just remasters.
Yeah, so this is like, all right, they got to build their way back up to like the over the top stuff, and I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah.
God, oh my god.
God, that fucking game. So that's what it is for me. Is Saints Row in the next month or so. Like, there's also a little SD Gundam game that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But look, I'm a Gundam whore. I will do terrible things for that franchise. I will fully admit that. But Saints Row is going to be so good.
Are you
Jeff.
gonna grab Spider-Man on PC? I know that's out tomorrow.
I like almost 100%ed Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
Yeah, you're,
I don't have. Yeah, Blaine's like, I would call me a Gundam slut. Not wrong. I'm gonna make John watch some of the original 1970s show, and I bet he'll like it. But
So
anyway,
you're a Gundam exhibitionist.
yeah, oh for sure. I need other people to see.
Yeah. I'm excited for probably gonna get back into Final Fantasy 14 at the end of the month. There's the next
yeah.
So they always release 5 big patches in between expansions. This will be the second one. And I was like, I don't know. I always take time off. It's like the kind of game where like I'm not big into the MMOs. I play for the story. I don't need to grind out all the highest gear. I enjoy doing a little bit of the grind just to get a taste of some of the high-end dungeons and things like that. Then I'm like, eh. So I've been out of the game for a few months, but they're bringing back, or they're bringing in, I should say, it's called Island Sanctuary. It's basically their equivalent of Animal Crossing. It's solo content, and it sounds super chill. I don't know if it'll be good because it's their first crack at it, and it's an MMO. But like, hey, you know what? Like,
You got to try
what
it.
do I have to
right?
lose? Yeah, exactly. And it's a good opportunity just for me to get back in and play these 2 patches of story content because it's the Endwalker was like the end of a 10-year story. It was like it was like the end game. So I'm interested to finally get a taste of like where they're going next.
Now you're
So,
on to Final Fantasy 14 Phase 4.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, no, I'm stoked for that.
Yeah. CJ, is it Saints
Really
Row
quickly.
for you as well, or
It's Saints Row, and then obviously the biggest one, the absolute like biggest game of 2022 is Pac-Man World Repacked. I'm so fucking excited for that game. I've never played a Pac-Man platformer, and I'm so mad that it took.
I haven't either. Like, I'm curious.
That
to
one
see...
stood out to me. I haven't played like hardly any Pac-Man games. I'm like, I would fuck with this.
I love Pac-Man to death. I love the original Maze game. I love this Pac-Man also because it's like one of the few games my dad and I played when I was younger. Man, Pac-Man, I am so excited. I anytime we get a new 3D platformer, I eat it up. I played KO the Kangaroo for review. Love that shit. I absolutely love that shit. So that's it. That and Saints Row are like the 2 big things.
Yeah.
Is the new Pac-Man like a new game or is it a remaster?
It's a remake of.
It's a
Like
repack, Justin.
Oh, okay.
It's a remake of like it's a PS1 game, right?
Yeah, so Pac-Man World was a PS1 game. It's on PS3 via the store for like $5. I never bought it.
Okay, I played one that was on the GameCube. It wasn't great.
Pac-Man World 2 or 3. I haven't played. Yeah,
It was either 2 or 3. I was not particularly a fan of it, but
a lot of people have fond
good.
memories. So
that was the
you
day.
know.
That was the day. Justin's like, man, fuck Pac-Man, little yellow.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck Pac-Man.
All my homies hate Pac-Man.
it's on site. It's on site.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's for me.
Folks, I don't have the super long, exit speech that John has. We have a Discord. Please join it. It's a good community. We talk about all kinds of good stuff. We have a strong moderation team that keeps the Discord friendly to all different types of folks. We just posted the link to that. Jeff just posted the link to the Patreon. You can support us either by subscribing here on Twitch or by tossing us a little money on Patreon. All of our content is free. We're never going to gate anything. That money just helps us to travel. It helps us buy new equipment. CJ needs a new mic. We could get a couple different folks some lights. We're all traveling together in October to John's house to do this big like charity fundraising multi-day event, and that's going to cost money because some of us got to fly, and those of us who don't have to fly have to pay for gas. So like you help us there. So we really appreciate the support, but it's not necessary, and I don't want to guilt you into it. I don't think I have anything else. Is there any other housekeeping notes? I guess that's a no. Well then, folks, thank you. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And remember, in the immortal words of our terrible, terrible game dad, kindness costs nothing.